Hey guys, Peter here from Oz Commercial Sewing Machines. This video is going to be based on going over a couple of these other buttons that we haven't gone over yet. This one here, which is the pincher. Okay, this one here, which is your condensed stitch, needle position, trimmer, foot lift, decorative start tack, and different styles of foot lift. Okay, so we'll start with the pincher here. So what this does, it works in conjunction with the scissors or the snipper. So basically what we're going to end up with is we're not going to, if we turn off that pincher, we're not going to have the bird's nest underneath. So if I go and do a little seam here, okay, you'll see that there's no real bird's nest in there. On that one. Okay, you've got your tail, which you can trim off, but you've just got your start tack and your end tack. Okay, so for any of you quilters that are using any of these machines, if you don't want the bird's nest, which looks like this, all you need to do is turn off this pincher, which is this little device down here, and you'll get that, which you'll just trim an end off. It's not much of an end there anyway. And on this side, you'll have something a little bigger, because this is the part that actually gets pushed underneath and dealt with by the pincher, this piece here. So all you'll have to do is just trim that off, and it's easy to do. And you've got your nice neat seam underneath, and your start tack. Okay, put that back on. Okay, this button here is your condensed stitch or a lock stitch. It basically does 2 or 3 pre-programmed stitches at about 0.5 of a millimeter, just basically straight up and down with a very minimal stitch length, and it just locks the stitch in place. So as your thread comes into your start tack, it's not going to pull out. And you can do that. You can turn that off. You can run it on the start tack only, the end tack only, or you can run it on the start and the end tack. It's difficult to show you what that looks like because it doesn't really show up. It's very fine stitch. This button here is your needle position. At the moment, I usually run it with the needle position in the down position. You can have it in the up position. So the line there is your needle plate. So your needle is above the needle plate, and there's below the needle plate there. Now these are your thread trimmer. You can either have that on or off, depending on whether you want to trim all your ends off manually or whether you want the machine to cut it. Okay, this button here, this is determining whether or not you get your foot to lift by using the foot pedal. Okay, so while this is lit up, the foot pedal will work. If we cancel that out, the foot pedal will not lift the foot, but the knee lift will. And even with this turned on, the knee lift will still work, as well as the foot pedal. Okay, this one here, now there's 2 different choices here. What this is your pivoting. So pretty much if we have that on and I start sewing, okay, and now if I take my foot off the pedal, your foot's going to come up on a timer. So if I want to go and turn and pivot, okay, anytime I take my foot off the pedal, the machine's foot is going to rise. Okay, and then we're finished. So that's if you want to do something that's not a counted area. We just did that big rectangle there. Okay, and once you get back to this point, all you do is heel back and the machine finishes. Okay, there is another option, and that is if the foot will raise at the end of the seam and the thread will cut, the foot will raise and the foot will stay up. So you're ready to slide your next job under. So if I go and do a seam here, and we'll finish, foot will raise. Now I can move the job back and we're ready to go again. Now I took my foot off the pedal there a little bit too soon and put it back on again. That's why the foot didn't stay up. So if I do the seam, now if I touch, okay, all you need to do to get the end tack is just to touch back on the heel. It will finish and the foot will come up. But if you take your foot off and then put it on again, the foot will react normally. Okay, so that's if you've got a lot of constant jobs that you want to run through. Now that foot will stay up for a while. It's on a timer and it's automatic. Or if you've got your job under there already, all you need to do is to put your foot on the pedal and start sewing, and it'll drop and start what your job is. Okay, so that foot's still up. So it's a fair while on this machine. Now it's just fallen down. With this last button up here, I'll turn off, it's off at the moment, but if I push that, now you'll see that that comes on and this screen changes. So you can actually change what these are in the internal parameters, but we'll leave them as they are for now. What this is a decorative start tack. So essentially, and an end tack. So B and C. So what we've got, okay, you can see it was doing a few different things there. So what we've got here, it layers the thread, does a small stitch there, and then it does your goes in and does your seam. Now to end as well, it does the larger stitch, layers it up a little bit, and then one little stitch there at the end. Okay, so that's the decorative stitch. Now you can change these, they are pre-programmed. So we'll do number 2. Okay, so there we have the later one. So we've got the condensed stitch before that. You can just see it there. We've got the layered stitch. It's a little bit shorter length than this one. And then we've got the end here. And then it's added 3 stitches onto the end of that, then the condensed stitch. Okay, so that's a decorative end tack and start tack. So would not really necessary, but it can be a little bit beneficial depending on what you're doing really. Most of the time you're just going to use the standard start and end tack. This button here is your soft start, which you don't really need to worry about too much, but you can turn that on or off. Thanks for watching.